Captain Larry D. Jones, followed by Brian Smith.
I'm Captain Larry Jones. I'm the president of Eastern Lake Erie Charter Boat Association, and I'm on the Erie County Fish Advisory Board.
Welcome.
The one concern that I have is with the algae going on the west end of the lake and the dead spots in the lake down to the Pennsylvania line. It has actually forced from midsummer on most of the fishermen to move to our end of the lake. So it's a good thing, we're getting a lot more, economic impact from people coming, and our charter boat captains are really busy and everything, but the problem is access. We're getting bottlenecked at all the accesses where there's really no room for all the boats to launch, and it's a circus. They did build new launch at Safe Boat Harbor, but it's 8 more launches just like they had 8 before. And they put it in a corner where it's going to be a bottleneck to make a turn. But the other problem is like Barcelona Harbor, they dredged all that with money from the Hurricane Sandy Relief Fund, over $1 million for that. And then the wall washed through because the Army Corps of Engineers does not upkeep the walls on Lake Erie on this end because they say there's not enough major ships that go into those ports anymore, so their priority is at the bottom of the list. So there's a hole in the wall, and this winter the sand went right back and filled in what they spent $1 million to dredge out. You also have the same problem every year at Sturgeon Point Marina. The way it was constructed when it was built, the sand fills in and fills out. It's 1 foot deep at the mouth of the marina right now, and everybody's trying to go out perch fishing, but it's closed. So you have access you can't use for part of the time, and then you don't have access when you need it in other parts. The city of Buffalo will not open up the Erie Basin Marina early or late because you have to have a union guard there to watch it so at union wages so they won't open it. So you don't have a safe place to pull out of the water when the winds blow up on Lake Erie to 50 miles an hour and you're out there. You could go around the Erie Basin Marina and be out of the wind and pull out, but you're stuck at the Safe Boat Harbor with 4 or 5 foot waves rolling in on you. So anyway, we need more access.
Thank you very much. Gordon.
What you're raising, a substantial problem with the algal blooms and the generally algae all across the country. It's not just here in this end of Lake Erie. In fact, we could take you to the other end of Lake Erie where they actually had to shut the water down a couple years ago in Toledo, and the people not only could not drink, they couldn't touch the water. It was so bad. It was just, it lasted a few days, but it was toxic. Now, this problem is being spotted all across our boundary. I mean, I could go well inland too and talk to you about lakes like Lake Winnipeg, about the size of Lake Erie, and huge problems there. Not all that long ago, they had a 11,000 square kilometer bloom of algae. So all across the country, this is becoming a major problem, and certainly we detect it across the borders, whether it's Missisquoi Bay in our east side on the Richelieu Champlain area, whether it's west at say Lake of the Woods, where the issue is huge in dimension, or whether we're talking the Great Lakes. About the only one that seems pretty good is Superior, but all the other lakes are feeling the impact. This is quite a change, because you'll remember that Lake Erie had these issues that we identified with the Cuyahoga River beginning, and now we're learning, of course, it was the buffalo that got the start on it with catching on fire 2 years before. So these are the things that led to the cleanup of the Great Lakes, and it was mostly phosphorus in those days. And within about 15 or 20 years, the governments had come to put in so much money to solve the problem that the issue was properly addressed, and Lake Erie became, by 1990, the poster child around the world of the wonderful, wonderful cleanliness of the lake. And I'm sure you, as a charter boat captain, would fully have appreciated that back then. So the problem is there. Something has happened in the last 15 years. We're trying to get to the bottom of what it is. There's, to a large extent, it's agricultural runoff. But there are many other aspects that contribute to it as well. We're addressing that. We've put out a report of our own a couple of years ago on it that preceded even the Toledo situation, which, by the way, was followed 30 days later by the same problem, shutting down Point Pelee on the Canadian side, and the Pelee Islanders couldn't touch the water either. So this is a big issue. This is, I think, the one that's going to pervade all of our discussions for years to come to get this addressed. Is it too much corn being grown too close to the shore? Is it too much fertilizer being used? Is it too much agricultural runoff from factory farms? All of these things we have to address, but whatever the case is, we have the problem. And someone like you are paying the price of that, because I'm sure you can't take your charters out. Anyway, we understand the problem. We know it's there. We'd like to find the solution, and there are a lot of forces that are working on this right at this minute.
Thank you. Thank you, Gordon. Thank you, Captain.